Let's get into the exam findings, and I'll tell you that when we use safe and effective remedies to get rid of these different infections that I'm going to point out here, the body, and the toxins that I'm going to point out here, the body can start to regenerate and better function, okay? So in her first examination, I found stressing her cingulate gyrus. Again, the cingulate gyrus, and I'll put up an image here of this part of the brain along with the name so you can actually see it. I like people to learn about the brain. I like people to learn about the body, because when you can become better informed, you have more power for you to be able to make better decisions. So the cingulate gyrus of the brain, which is a limbic system, emotional controlling, emotional regulating system of the brain, she had a small amount of Clostridium difficile, which is a bacteria. She had Campylobacteria, or H. pylori, affecting that part of her brain. She had Streptococcus bacteria affecting that part of the brain, Staph bacteria affecting that part of the brain. She had certain vaccine chemicals like the MMR vaccine and DPT vaccine affecting that part of her brain. She also had St. Louis encephalitis virus affecting her cingulate gyrus. How did she get that? Maybe her parent had it, maybe, and it came through in the birth canal. Maybe she was bitten by a mosquito right after she came out of her mother's body, and then, shortly after, and the mosquito gave her the St. Louis encephalitis virus. The influenza virus affecting her cingulate gyrus. The influenza A virus affecting her cingulate gyrus. I found some antibiotic chemicals and anesthetic chemicals also in there. Cefdinir, which is an antibiotic, Cefdinir, I'll put that name up here on the screen. Cephalexin, also called Keflex, antibiotic affecting her cingulate gyrus. I found that propofol general anesthetic, which is a chemical that wasn't used in her, but it was definitely used in her mother at some point, where this propofol general anesthetic had gone through the birth canal. Listen, the baby, into the baby's brain, into her brain. When a baby is connected to the mother's umbilical cord, anything that's in the mother can go right through that cord and get into the baby while that baby is developing in the mother. I'll tell you, there was a study, let me pause on the report of these findings. There was a study done in 2005 by the American Red Cross. And the study, which you can find online, just look up American Red Cross, toxic baby, I think it was called toxic baby syndrome. I don't remember the exact name right now, but I'll put it up on the screen here so you can actually go there and read about this, this research done. In 2005, across the United States, the American Red Cross chose any state, any city, any hospital. There was no one city or state that was preferred over another in this test. There was no hospital that was one over another preferred in this test. Everything was a double-blind random study. The babies had to be, they couldn't be premature. They were still connected to the cord of the mother. There was no vaccine given. They had no defect. They seemed to be healthy newborn infants. Healthy, seemingly healthy when they came out of the mother. They took biopsy tissue samples of the baby. They took samples of the umbilical cord blood, and they found 287 toxic cancer-causing chemicals in the babies at birth. 287 toxic cancer-causing chemicals in the babies at birth. They found about a third of those were neurodegenerative chemicals. That means brain degeneration chemicals. That means the brain may not be able to develop properly. Or let's say the brain is developing okay, but then later in life there's Alzheimer's, there's dementia, there's brain fog, there's Parkinson's, there's some type of neurodegenerative, neurodecline disorder that develops in the person. So anything that was in the baby, it was in the mother's umbilical cord blood. The same chemicals, plastic, DDT insecticide, food preservatives, food colorings, antibiotic chemicals, and birth control pills, and diesel fuel, and anesthetics, and mercury, and aluminum, and lead, all these in these babies' tissues and in the mother's umbilical cord blood. Again, that proves that whatever's in the mother can get into the baby, and actually it can lead to brain development disorder. Have you always been interested in finding a way to help improve their brain function, to develop better brain function? Watch this video right now and you're going to see and hear a woman with her 3-year-old daughter who's got Down syndrome, how impressed she is at and surprised she is at how much better brain function her daughter is now experiencing and enjoying. Watch this and I'll be right back. So what have you noticed so far with her personality? What changes have you seen so far?
I mean, after the first week of taking the protocol, she was much more confident already. Her balance is a lot better, obviously with Down syndrome and low tone. It's a struggle to walk good and to jump and to run. Her balance has improved. Her anxiety has improved extremely. I can't even stress that word enough because that's how her anxiety has improved.
She was clinging to you. She was like afraid to be away from you.
She was afraid of everything, and especially being away from me. So yeah, now she runs in front of me, and I don't have to hold her all the time, and I don't have to be near her all the time.
And she's able to just go up and introduce herself to people?
Yes.
She's shaking hands?
And she doesn't feel overwhelmed being around a crowd of people anymore. She's not as tired anymore, so that has improved.
And that's great. And you also told me that before, she's 3 years old, so the first time you heard is this is August 20th of 2019. You were here just about 2 or 3 months ago for the first visit, and before your first workup with me, before the first exam, before you followed her, you helped her follow the first protocol. Was she saying any words back then?
She was saying a few words spontaneously, every once in a while, but now that, especially after the first month of using the protocol, she has picked up on speech a lot. I feel like she can understand me better too. I don't have to continue to repeat everything. Like before that, I repeated, like that's a shoe, for example, like 100 times a day to point that out what that object is. Now I feel like I have to show her once and tell her once what it is, and she understands.
And
So-
she's got some sentences, you were telling me.
She does. She puts.
And I'm sorry to interrupt, but before it was like one word here and there, sporadic and not too frequent.
That's right.
But now,
And now she can put a 3-word sentence together spontaneously, and she does that throughout the day. And she also starts singing songs with a couple of words in there. So that's very exciting for us.
because there were no, there was only
There
three
was
words in it.
no word, not one word if she was listening to a song. Now she's putting a couple of words in that song that
That's
she's
great.
singing.
Definitely in this first, why we're presenting this to you is because people with Down syndrome, you're part of that community and you've seen people with developmental problems,
That's right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when I first met you, I noticed what was going on with her with the anxiety and the fear and the panic that was going on in this room. And that was while she was holding on to you, clinging for life. And now, so we went to these different emotional centers in the brain and we were able to find different infections and chemicals and get them out of there with this unique work. And you've noticed a dramatic change in the personality.
And personality and also outward
development.
appearance.
Outward appearance?
Her skin has more one complexion. It's not as marble, and her eyes, under the eyes, it's not as swollen. And for me, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
It's a very good improvement for us.
Are you part of any big Down syndrome groups out there, communities? Is there,
We just moved to Abilene, Texas, so
I mean, online, do you follow
Yes.
some groups? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, do you think that this can benefit other people who are living with Down syndrome?
oh, I am sure it could.
Yeah.
I am sure it would.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
the improvement that we've seen in these couple of months, it's just dramatic. So I'm sure other people would see the same.
Okay. Do you think that those people should come in?
Definitely. They should definitely come in to see Dr. Lonnie Herman. He has changed our lives already. It's just been 3 months.
Yeah. Thank you.